Okay, today we are going to continue our debunking of the Mandela effect and the so-called changes it has made to the King James Bible. And I've seen a lot of videos lately, and a lot of people like to run to this passage in the book of Revelations, chapter 22, verses 18 and 19. And basically it states that, if any man takes away or adds to, I'm paraphrasing here by the way, takes away or adds to the word that, God will severely punish them. And they're using that as, I guess, as a point of credibility or to, justify their explanation as to why the King James Bible says certain things and the other versions do not. So let's just take a look into that, and I'm not saying that God in His let me clarify that. I'm not saying that God in His infinite wisdom didn't know that man would try to corrupt His word, because God, being from everlasting to everlasting, the beginning and the end and everything in between, knew that inevitably man would try to corrupt His word and perverse His word. And I'm going to show you today where man has, but it's not the King James Bible that's been perversed. It's not the King James Bible that has been changed. So, before we go any further, we need to actually look in and find where and what the King James Bible translators used to translate the New Testament of the King James Bible. And so, after a little bit of research on the web, I've come across this nifty little chart, and there's the website in case you want to look it up on your own. And I do encourage you to do your own research and to come to your own conclusions. Jesus said that my people are destroyed for their lack of knowledge, and so the only way you can obtain this knowledge is to seek out these things on your own and come to your own understanding and your own conclusions. But for now, let's just take a look at this nice little chart that I found, and we can see that the preserved or Byzantine text, which is also known as the majority text and also known as the Textus Receptus, is where we get the modern King James Bible translation, along with some of the other older Bibles. However, we can see that there's also another line, which is a corrupted Alexandrian text, which includes the Codex Sinaiticus and the Codex Vaticanus, and that is considered the minority text. And the reason it is considered the minority text is because it was rejected from the majority text as being corrupted because it did not agree with the majority text. And all these texts, all these preserved Byzantine texts, they all agreed with one another, and that's why they were allowed into the canonization of the Scripture. And so we can see that in 1860 that Westcott and Hort then rediscovered these texts and promoted them in use in new modern Bibles. And that's where we get the new modern translations from, such as the NIV, the RSV, the TEV, NASB, ESV, and ASV. So we have two lines of text, two lines of Greek manuscripts, one being preserved, one being corrupted, and that's where we get our modern translation from, is from the corrupted text. Whereas the King James, authorized 1611, comes from the Textus Receptus. And so we need to do a little bit of research on just who Westcott and Hort were. So we go and we find out that Westcott and Hort were a couple of scholars, it looks like. And like I said, I encourage you to do this research on your own. I'm not going to read through this entire thing, as it would, take up way too much time. And basically, we're going to just skim on down here to their occult involvement, and we can see where these guys, founded several occult societies. And these are the names of the occult societies, and this one, I guess, is the big one. And it basically started the modern New Age movement. So we can see that the new modern Bibles basically come from the fathers of the New Age movement. And if you want to get into some really deep research on Westcott and Hort and the New Age movement and these New Age Bibles, or the new translations, I should say, I would advise you to check out this book by Gail Riplinger. It's a good read, and for those that are interested in learning the truth and learning the history and the origins of these new Bibles, this is an excellent book to read. It's very informative. Everything is documented. She does her homework on this, and so I'll put my stamp of approval on it. But going back to things being changed in the Bible and who has changed them, we can go back and do a little refresher real quick that, out of these corrupted texts, and out of Westcott and Hort, we see that there has been over 300 changes. And it wasn't due to CERN, and it wasn't due to the Mandela effect, but it was due to man and his corruption. And so we can see that it is an extensive list of things that have been removed. And like I said, if you want to go to this website, I would highly suggest it. It's very, very accurate, very informative of the changes that were made and in what versions that they were changed in. And as we go down the list and see, it's long. It's a huge list of things that they've removed and they've changed. So the changes that were due to the quote-unquote so-called Mandela effect phenomenon and CERN phenomenon, it's just not true. These changes were made way back over 100 years ago by a couple of occultists named Westcott and Hort. And if you want to go back and check out, the origins of the Old Testament, you can. And this is a great webpage to go and check that out. It's the TextusReceptus.com, and it is pretty much a history on the Textus Receptus, who used it, pretty much everything you want to know about it. It's there, and it also has documentation on the Septuagint. And a lot of people want to go and say, well, the Septuagint, the King James the Old Testament basically doesn't agree with, the Septuagint. And that's because, again, the Septuagint was a Greek version of the Hebrew Bible. It was not used in the translation. What was used was the Torah. So we can see that it's got the Septuagint. It's also got the Codex Vaticanus, and some more history on the Codex Sinaiticus. And these are all, found on the TextusReceptus.com's main page. You can check that out on your own, do your own research, come to your own conclusions. But, I would just like to add one other thing. I don't come to you with an eloquent of speech or, any kind of, cool graphics or, awesome music and videos, to fluff up this page with. All I'm coming to you with is just the truth that's been revealed, to me. And, I hope this helps you. I hope that you do pray and seek the guidance of Jesus on these matters, because if you pray and ask Him to show you the truth, He is just, and He will, be sure to point you in the right direction. And so I pray this is, help some people. I pray that if you don't know Jesus, that you come to find Him. And, I pray that God blesses you, and thank you for listening.